What's up? Welcome back to part 2 of this episode of DSP's Inbox. Let's jump right back into it because you know we have limited time. Okay, the next question is, hey Phil, quick question. During your Dead Rising K0 playthrough, you mentioned that you didn't like the first one due to controls and boss battles. And you said that K0 has the same problems, but you went ahead and played Dead Rising 2 anyway. Do you ever feel that because you're becoming more and more popular, you feel obligated to play games that you might not necessarily like, or you know you won't like, just because you're known to play the latest games? Anywho, love the vids, thanks for your time, and that's from Muchachi. Good question, Muchachi. The answer is, actually, yes, I am influenced to play games that are popular, especially this fourth quarter when most of the popular games from the year come out. What I like to do is play them, and even if I know I might not like them, give them a chance. Because, let's face it, over time things change, and if you give games a chance, they might improve. Now, with the case of Dead Rising K0 and 2 and 1, I really did not like Dead Rising 1. And I'll be honest with everyone, I didn't buy it when it first came out. I bought it a little bit later on after a lot of people had already played it and said it was a good game. And I hated the control scheme, I really did. And I thought it was a lot frustrating. I thought the controls were a little bit easier to maneuver. The game would have been a lot more fun, but because the controls were frustrating, I really didn't like it. Plus, there was the open mission structure where you really weren't sure what the hell you were supposed to be doing most of the time. And in addition to that, the boss battles, like I said, why are these bosses taking hundreds and hundreds of bullets and they're still fine? And the thing that really got me, again, as I mentioned, I don't usually buy strategy guides, so for that game I didn't buy the strategy guide, and so I wasn't really enjoying it, because I didn't know, am I doing the right things, am I missing fun side missions? It was really confusing. And so when Dead Rising K0 came out, I wanted to give it a chance, but it seemed like, yeah, it was a lot of the same problems. The controls were slightly improved, but the boss battles were still frustrating as fuck, and you really didn't know all the side missions. So then, when I actually bought Dead Rising 2, I said, you know what, this might be the type of game where I need to buy the strategy guide, because there's so much going on. If I don't get it, I'm going to miss half the stuff. So I'll be honest with everyone, I did buy the strategy guide, and then as you saw, up to part 20, it was a miserable disaster. I started playing the game, enjoying it, and then when I started to do some of the things that the strategy guide told me you should be able to do by that point, it was fucking impossible. Like getting that tiger to come with you, it was just, the game was bugged. The tiger wouldn't grab the stakes, and it was just really frustrating. And it really was starting to turn me off to the game. But then all of a sudden, when John Rambo came over and we played it with co-op, I thought the game was amazing. And then, I even mentioned in a later video, after you beat the game the first time, once you play it through a second time with the New Game Plus, which basically means you keep all your stuff from the first playthrough, the game's amazingly fun because now you're fast, you're powerful, you have all these combo weapons, you're leveling up constantly, getting achievements, you can do almost all of the side missions because you're so fast now, there's no time constraints or problems anymore, and it's just a better experience the second time through. So I'm glad that I gave the game Dead Rising 2 a chance, because I could have easily just watched K0 and said, it's the same shit, and got rid of it. But because I gave it a chance, I was able to play the co-op with Rambo, I was able to play some of my second playthrough with him, or by myself with the New Game Plus, and I enjoyed it a lot. So overall, I thought the game was actually pretty damn good. I just think that the game should be more explanatory on what to do. Like, you should know the first time you play the game you can't do everything. But I think a lot of people get the misconception that you can do everything, because most video games, you can do everything your first playthrough. So that's the problem with that game. Now, am I being influenced to play games that normally I wouldn't play? Sure. For example, on Sunday I'm going to be playing Kirby's Epic Yarn, and normally maybe that wouldn't be something I'm interested in, but I'm going to give it a shot because I need the content. I want to try out this new platformer on the Wii. It is one of the few games I'm going to get to play on the Wii this year, and I think some people might enjoy it, or at least get an opinion on if this is a game they'd be interested in or not. So, yeah, for me, I'm not necessarily, not every game I'm playing it's because it looks super fun to me, but at least if I get the word out of what I feel about the game and my honest reactions to the game, give people an opinion on if they like it or not, then I think that I'm doing my job, and that's really ideally what I'm looking to do. You're absolutely right. In the past, I pretty much focused on just the games that I liked the most, but now since I'm doing this as a job full-time, I will really try to focus on the most popular releases, which is what I'm really trying to do over the next couple of months. So yeah, you'll see me maybe play games that normally you wouldn't think that I would play, but I might still end up enjoying them, and Dead Rising 2 is a perfect example. So I'm glad I didn't turn that game down. I'm glad I gave it a chance because I liked it a lot. Okay. This next one is a consolidation of probably 100 questions I've gotten. If people are still asking me, can they donate games? Can they donate consoles? Can they donate other physical items? I've even got this woman on YouTube, I guess, who's trying to make. She paints pictures with her breasts, okay, which is hilarious. It's cool. It's pretty cool. It's hilarious. And I guess she's been trying to contact me. A lot of fans have told me, hey, Phil, she made a video. She's trying to contact you. She wants to send me a picture. And obviously the reason she wants to do it is to try to get some promotion for herself, which I understand. And it's just America, and we're all, trying to get ahead. I have no problem with that. The problem I do have is I have nowhere for anyone to send it. I could have them send it here, but then I'm giving away my address, which obviously for privacy issues I don't want to do. We all know, yes, the majority of people are good-hearted people who just want to have fun, but there are going to be haters out there. There are people out there who might end up being like these crazy obsessive fans. I can't let people know where I live, so I can't give you my real address. Previously, with the Wii, I had it forwarded to someone else's address, and that worked out for just that one instance, but I wouldn't want to put someone else on the spot like that to worry about stuff showing up. So what I'm going to end up doing eventually is I am going to get a P.O. box, but I need to look into how to do that. I know I could do it over at the post office, or there might be some other places like mailboxes, etc., where I might be able to do it, but I'm not 100% sure of the process. But I am going to be doing that eventually. I haven't had a chance to do it yet, and being that the next couple of weeks are going to be extremely hectic with the amount of games coming out, I might not get a chance to do it till next year, but once I do it, that's when basically I'll say to everyone, yes, if you have things you'd like to donate, please go ahead. I'd be more than willing to accept this picture. I actually saw the picture in a video. It looks amazing. It's something that I'd like to frame and hang on my wall, but unfortunately, right now I have nowhere for you to send it. So, Marcy, don't take offense, thinking I'm ignoring you or anything. I just simply have nowhere to put this picture to send this picture to at this time. When I get it all figured out, I'll let everyone know. Okay, so that's over with. Take a quick sip of water here. Dear DSP, do you ever get headaches, migraines, or other health problems from playing games or using computers for long periods? What is your rule or routine for taking breaks if you have one? Also, how much did you have to use a computer at your last place of work? Cheers. And this guy actually said, could you please keep my name anonymous? So I will. Great question. Especially for someone like me who I end up playing for extended periods of time to record my playthroughs. I do take breaks. I'd probably say every hour to hour and a half I get up, I walk around, I maybe get a drink, I stretch a little bit. If you're playing games or typing for extended amounts of time, your fingers can really start to get, tight. So I do some, finger stretching. At work, I did have a stress ball that I used. It's not really a stress ball, but one of those squishy balls where you can use it to work your hands and get your hands moving and get the circulation going through again to get the muscles moving so there's no tenseness in your fingers. It's really important to do those things because if you don't, you can end up getting all kinds of problems. Like you can get arthritis, you can get carpal tunnel, you can hurt your eyes by staring at the screen for too long and not looking away. Me personally, because of my back injury, if I stay put for too long, I actually hurt my back, and actually the pain will come up all the way into my shoulders and into my neck as well, and it'll be tense for days. So even though sometimes I really get into gameplay, I have to pause and take a break, and it is important for everyone. I'd probably say anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half, around that time period, you have to take a break. Don't play for like 3 hours, 4 hours straight without moving. You'll just kill yourself, and you're going to need breaks in between. It's important. It's good for your health. Okay, a couple more questions, and then we're on to the Twitter questions. This guy basically, I didn't write, Matt Wolford gave me a really good 2 paragraphs, but I'm going to summarize it for time's sake. He basically says, Phil, I know you used to do the Hateful Truth videos. We all liked them, but like you've said, recently you're more involved in doing the game playthroughs, and therefore you don't have time to do these longer videos that take editing. Can you do one of 2 things? He basically says he wants to know when I finish a game, what is my actual take on the game. Whether or not I do a full Hateful Truth video, he still wants to hear my rating for the game. So here's what I think I'm going to do. He made a very good suggestion. He says, and why don't you do that on TheKingOfHateHD so you have some more videos for your partner channel? Well, I think what I'm going to do during this busy gaming season is once a week, I'm going to sit down, maybe it'll be Sunday or Monday, but I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do like kind of a weekend review where I'm going to talk about the games I've played and what my overall ratings are for those games based off of that 1 week. So for example, on Monday this week, I might sit down and I'll do a review of the Alan Wake DLC, Sonic 4, Medal of Honor, the campaign, and online if I've gotten a chance to play the online by then. Anything else I play in between, and Kirby's Epic Yarn if I've played enough into it to get a review. If not, I might push that to the next week. But I think every Monday I'll sit down and I'll say, listen, this is the last day of the gaming week this week. The new releases are coming out tomorrow. Here's my ratings on all the games for the past week. And I'll do that as a video on The King of Hate HD. So really on Mondays there should be 2 videos on The King of Hate HD. You'll see my weekend review and my weekend preview. So you'll know what I did the past week and what my ratings are, and then what I felt, what I'm going to be doing for the next week coming up. If you think that's a good idea, let me know on this video. I think that's a great idea, and it's a good way for me to not have to do a full hateful truth on all those. Hell, maybe I'll just call the segment in that video where I talk about my ratings the hateful truth. I could do that, so we'll see what happens. Okay, this one's from Lord Angus 1992, and his question is, you haven't reached 30 yet, but you're certainly a lot older than other gamers. A lot of other gamers. Fair enough. He says, perhaps you can be like a grandfather telling Vietnam stories to grandkids. I don't know about that. I don't know if I could really talk about Charlie too much. Except that you're talking about gaming in the early 90s to slightly younger gamers. What kind of hype was there for classic games such as Doom and Final Fantasy VII? Well, actually I mean 6, I guess because he knows that I like 6 more than 7. Was there a big shitstorm over 3D gaming when the PS1 came out back in 1994? I know a lot of gamers who were alive at the time but didn't have the mental capacity to remember such events. Great question, and this is another really good question because this might lead me to maybe something else I could talk about on The King of Hate HD. Maybe I can have a video series where every couple of weeks I talk about back in the day and reminisce on how it was back then, the console wars, because there were some crazy console wars back then, let me tell you. Nintendo, Sega, then when Sony moved in, Atari, I mean, it was crazy. There's so much shit out, and you never knew what was good and what was worth buying. Remember, there was no internet to really go to and look at reviews and things like that. Nothing was trustworthy, so it was kind of very hit or miss on what you were doing back then. So I think that this might be a good idea for a new series. So thank you, Lord Angus 1992. I'll think about that, and I'll see what I can do. Maybe turn it into a series here on The King of Hate HD. Alright, one more question and then we'll get to Twitter questions. Hey Phil, many people that I know became a fan of your work because of your Fallout 3 playthrough. I'm wondering, what's your final thoughts on Fallout 3? Could you summarize your final thoughts on the game, seeing how the New Vegas is right around the corner and imminent? Does it rank high on your all-time games list? Also, what are your expectations of New Vegas? Well, in a nutshell, I think Fallout 3 is probably, out of all the video games I've ever purchased in my entire life, the most bang for your buck, because you can get so many hours of gameplay out of that game. There's so many side missions, so many side quests that aren't official missions but are also things you can do in the game. Different ways to play the game. There's massive replayability in the game, and as if that's not enough, you've got all these amazing DLCs that came out for the game that continued the story, that really progressed everything. So overall, I have to say that game was amazing. How does it rank in my all-time games list? It absolutely does rank high. I would probably say it's definitely in my top 10 favorite games of all time. That being said, did I grow up with the game? Absolutely not. So probably games like some of the older Final Fantasies, Street Fighter, those games are going to rank on my list higher than a game like Fallout 3, but Fallout 3 is still pretty damn good. His second question, what are your expectations of New Vegas? Well, the problem is, it's not the same people who made New Vegas, it's different developers. They didn't make Fallout 3. It looks like they kind of follow along the same vein that the developers of Fallout 3 did, but it's not necessarily the same group of people. So here are my expectations. I want the game to at least be as long as Fallout 3 was, to have several open world side missions, such as Fallout 3 had, to the point where, let me give you a perfect example. This is the strategy guide to Fallout 3, okay? Not the DLCs. This was the one I bought when Fallout 3 was brand new, so this isn't even the one that has all the DLC content. Take a look at how thick the damn thing is. I mean, this thing is over 450 pages long. This is the kind of game I'm expecting when I buy Fallout New Vegas. I want a game that's so ripe with content that it's going to fill this. I want a game that gives me the massive bang for my buck, because here's the bottom line. Fallout 3 was amazing. If they can continue this with the Fallout series, everyone's going to buy it, because now everyone now knows that this name is synonymous with quality and content and quantity. And if they can do that with New Vegas, I think people are going to follow the series forever, and it's going to become one of the most popular gaming series of all time. If they drop the ball and the game only ends up being like 15 hours long, and there's not a lot of side missions, and the combat is buggy, and this and that, then you're going to really lose faith in this label, and you're going to have problems. So I'm really hoping that the game is as good as Fallout 3. I actually do not expect the game to be better than Fallout 3, because again, like I said, this isn't Fallout 4, this isn't made by the same team that made Fallout 3. I'm thinking that the game will probably try to mimic it, which is fine. Like, for example, Modern Warfare 2 trying to mimic Modern Warfare 1, even though it was made by the same people, it's still a similar game, and it was good when it was new. I'm hoping that it's at least that good. It's at least as good as Fallout 3. That's my expectations for New Vegas. Okay. 10 Twitter questions. We're going to rattle through them really quick. Number 1, what's going on with partnership status for DSP Gaming and Darkside Phil and DSP Street Fighter? I know you applied for it. Did you hear back from YouTube? The answer is no. None of them have I gotten a response. I'm still waiting, and when I check, it says your application is still being processed. So it doesn't mean it's a no, but when it takes them this long to approve, it probably means it's not going to be a yes. But we'll see what happens. I got questioned, are you going to be checking out DLCs Minerva's Den for Bioshock 2, or The Sacrifice for Left 4 Dead 1 or 2, or any other older DLCs, yada yada yada? The answer is this, no, because those games have been traded in 100 years ago. Minerva's Den, that's Bioshock's fault, because they never announced that was coming out, and the same thing with The Sacrifice. Valve never announced they were making another DLC after the passing, so I had no idea that that ever was coming out, and I traded the game in. Now, some people have asked me, well, what if we donate the games to you, Phil? Or, what really people have been saying, what if we gift the games to you over Steam for your PC? Well, I've got bad news for everyone. The Alienware laptop that I bought just like 3-4 months ago, the HDMI port doesn't seem to work anymore, which is really pissing me off. I tried to basically watch a show over the internet and watch it on my TV the other day, and I plugged it in and I'm getting nothing. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's just a temporary thing or if it's really fried. So I can't really hook up the laptop to my system to play any games. And that's a bummer. That's what I bought the damn thing for. The only other option that I would have is I would have to use VGA out to connect that directly to the TV. Then I'd have to find a way to splice the audio through like the headphone jack into my receiver, which I could do, but it's going to be complicated. And I was really, really hoping the HDMI would work. It did for StarCraft 2 and for a lot of stuff I was watching over the internet, and now for whatever reason it's not working. I don't know what happened, but it's bad news, I know. But I'll see what I can do, but for now, no, unfortunately, I can't receive any games gifted over Valve until I get that working, so I'll let you know. Someone asked, have you ever think about doing a DSP game night, where you basically let everyone know you'll be playing a certain game, and everyone joins your game and you try to play? Yes, I consider doing it, but it's probably not going to be anytime soon unless I really get bored. It might be a last-minute thing because I'm going to be so busy with everything else going on in this fourth quarter of the year and all these games coming out. But we'll see what happens, especially if it slows down. I might consider doing something like that with my viewers. This is a funny question, but I'm going to answer it very quickly. When Ric Flair retired from the WWE, he was supposed to officially retire full-time, but then he ended up going to TNA Wrestling. What are your feelings on that? My feelings are this. Ric Flair is an amazing wrestler. He's entertained us for like so freaking long. I have to respect the guy, but he just doesn't know when to hang it up. And WWE pretty much said, Flair, listen, we love you, we respect you, but you're getting old, you're getting a lot to become a liability in the ring. We're afraid you're going to wrestle and hurt yourself seriously, and we think you should retire. And basically Flair said, okay, I'll retire. He retired. Then he completely went back on his word, went to a different wrestling federation and started wrestling again. So, in my opinion, I respect Flair for who he is, what he's done in the industry, but he needs to hang up his boots before he kills himself in the ring. That's my opinion. Next question. How is everything going with the participation? Or, I've noticed some of my fans have now termed the term CRAP, C-R-A-P. Comment, rate, and participate is basically what it stands for. It's going well overall. I am noticing that from here and there, it slows down usually when I only put one video on my partner channel a day. It significantly slows down. But if I put 2 or more videos on the partner channel a day, I seem to be doing really well. So what I'm going to have to look to do is space it out so I have enough videos during the week for the partner channel that I'm at least putting 1 a day, and then I have some days where I can do 2, so it makes up for the ones where I've only done 1. But overall, you guys have been amazing. You're viewing them, you're doing everything, and it's working out so far. Again, I'll let you know if anything changes. I'm really wondering what's going to happen now with this, if it's going to work out to be a full-time job. The problem is, unfortunately, the way that the partner program works, I won't know for like 2 months, which sucks. I know, it's amazing, but I won't know for 2 months whether or not this is working or not. But I will keep everyone in the loop, and I'll let you know, and I'm going to focus on it for now. Okay. I had a couple questions about the New York Comic Convention that I attended last weekend. Basically, people want to know, overall, what did I think of it? I thought it was a fun event. Unfortunately, for me, there's 2 things that really held me back from having too much fun. Number 1 is my back, because as you know, I have a back injury, and after about an hour to an hour and a half of standing and walking around, it really started to hurt. And the problem is there were so many people there, there was really nowhere to even sit to relax. It was like being packed in a can of sardines. There were so many people on Saturday. So unfortunately, for something like that, I think I would need to, if I were to do it again, plan out a way to have somewhere to sit for my back. And then also money, because right now, being that I have no job, or that YouTube is my job, and it's uncertain whether or not it's going to work out, I spent almost no money when I was there. And there was a lot of stuff there that I wanted. Some cool collector's figures. There was a statue that I loved of Sabretooth, and there were a couple other things that really I would have loved to pick up, because that's really the idea of going to the comic convention. You see stuff, but you also buy stuff. But I didn't want to spend any money because I was afraid, so I didn't spend any money. And I get the feeling that if I were to go back next year and things were much better, and you know this is working out, and I know that I have money I can spend, I think I'd have a much better experience. But we'll see. Overall, it's a fun thing. Just be sure if you go on a Saturday, understand how packed it's going to be, because we didn't expect that, and it was freaking packed. Someone asked me, can they send me a Microsoft point card so that I can try out a specific game? Actually, this person wants me to try out the new game Comic Jumper. You can't send me anything, like I said, physically, but if anyone wants to donate things like Microsoft points or Wii points, send me the codes through a private message, or, you know, I wouldn't say don't send it to the DSP Inbox email address because that'll get lost in the shuffle, but if you send it through me through a private message on any of my channels, eventually I'll see it, and then I can do it that way. So if anyone wants to donate that kind of stuff, send me the codes through private message. And incidentally, if I get to I might get to Comic Jumper. It depends on how long it takes me to beat Medal of Honor, and if I get to try the online, and if not, maybe I'll play Comic Jumper. So we'll see. 3 more quick questions. We're done. Next question is, did the DLCs for Alan Wake affect my score of 7.5 in my last Hateful Truth? The answer is not really. Even though the DLCs do add to the game, I don't feel that they really added enough that it's going to improve the score. The good news about the DLCs is they do give you a definitive ending. You're not kind of up in the air wondering what's going on, but it also doesn't give you like a happy ending. It's more of a cliffhanger ending, and so I get the feeling they did it on purpose because they might want to continue that into a sequel for Alan Wake. But I think I'm going to stick with my 7.5 score. I think it's a fair score for the game. It would have been a lot better if the gameplay wasn't as repetitive, but it was, so it is what it is. 2 more. The next question, are you still selling your joysticks? The answer is yes. In fact, I met with Howard today to talk about it. We've got several sticks which we're going to be modifying. We're going to upgrade the parts, upgrade the artwork on them, and then I'm going to basically put them up for auction. What we're thinking of doing is myself, John Rambo, and Howard are each going to do our own custom stick. Like, we'll design it ourselves. We'll find art that we like. We'll buy the parts that we like, and we'll each do our own. And we'll offer them up for auction, and if you like, we can autograph them. If not, if you're actually going to use them for gameplay, maybe you don't want us to autograph them, that's completely up to you. And then also, there's some other sticks that we're looking to modify that might be dual mod, meaning they might work with both the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. We figure those might go for a good sum because a lot of people are looking for that. So, we're working on it. Our estimated goal for having these sticks completed and ready for sale is probably early December. So we're going to be talking about it over the next month and a half and hopefully making it come together, and we'll go from there. I'll keep you guys in the loop. The last question, and then we're done. What is the most iconic food of Connecticut? The answer to that question is seafood. Everything here is seafood. Any of the specialty restaurants, it's all seafood. Shrimp, scallops, lobster, all that kind of stuff can be found in Connecticut. Seafood is our big thing. A lot of people come here for the seafood. Connecticut and Maine. Maine mainly for the lobsters, Connecticut for shrimp and scallops and that kind of clams. Whole belly clams are a specialty of Connecticut. So if you ever pass through here, find a nice seafood restaurant on the beach. Whole belly clams, they're delicious. So that's it for another DSP Inbox. I know I've answered a bajillion questions. I hope that it was very informative. I'll see you guys later. Please remember to keep participating, commenting, rating, and hopefully I can do this for my full-time job. Thanks a lot, guys.